Okay, hi there. Here's a quick video just taking you through the problem of regulatory capture. It's a key concept to use in any question on government intervention and market structures. So what is regulatory capture? Well, first of all, it's a form of government failure, and it happens when a regulatory body, an industry regulator for example, operates or appears to operate in favour of producers, suppliers, rather than consumers. And typically it happens when the supplier or the suppliers as a collective body have significant influence or lobbying power, particularly with government agencies. So why does this matter? Why is it called the problem of regulatory capture? Well, first of all, consumers' interests may be harmed both in the short term and in the long run if suppliers, businesses in the market are not held to account and, for example, the regulator does not enforce a minimum standard of service. Typically, with regulatory capture, prices will be higher for consumers than they would be if there was better regulation, and that can lead to a fall in real incomes and also perhaps a regressive effect on relatively poorer households. And equally, there can be damaging externalities, external costs, if the regulator fails to act, perhaps leading to a social welfare loss. What are the main causes of regulatory capture? Well, two of them actually linked to information. Fundamentally, the cause is asymmetric information. Oftentimes, the regulatory body is heavily reliant on information, on costs, on prices, on investment needs that come from the firms themselves. When they're setting maybe profit regulation levels or price capping, they're reliant on industry expertise and industry information. So therefore they may tend to favour the supplier because that information may be skewed. The industry knows more about the industry than the regulator does. Another big issue is that often regulators are under-resourced. Perhaps they're paying people less than they should. But crucially, they don't have enough funding, they don't have enough human capital, labour resources to properly hold an industry to account. And thirdly, there could be a gap in information, particularly in industries where products, goods and services are very complex. People working for the regulator may not simply understand the complexities of an industry, particularly, for example, in the financial services sector. They may not really understand the causes of and the nature of risk, for example. Two good examples that spring to mind. One is the water industry, where over time, as some people are claiming, the Ofwat, the regulator in the water industry, has allowed water bills to increase by more than they should have. They've been allowed to rise by inflation plus a certain percentage. In part, there's a claim that Ofwat should have been more powerful, should have been tougher on holding the regional water utilities to account. I think the wider issue is what happens to the regulation of financial services in the years leading up to, and you can make a case the years since, the global financial crisis of 10 or 12 years ago. The regulatory agencies had adopted a light touch style of regulation with commercial banks, and there's a case for saying that they really truly did not understand. They were behind the curve, if you like, with the complexity of the financial trades that were taking place and the risks that commercial and investment banks and other institutions were taking. So two good examples there of regulatory capture. Do use this concept in your microeconomics exams. It will really help the evaluation.